Well, Mr. Speaker, with that, I yield the balance of the time to the gentleman from Rhode Island, a member of the House Appropriations Committee and a valued member of the caucus, Mr. Patrick Kennedy.
The gentleman from Rhode Island is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My uncle said a generation ago, if we examine the history of the conflict, we find the dismal story repeated time after time. Every time, at every crisis, we have denied anything was wrong, sent more troops, and issued more confident communiques. Every time we have been assured that this one last step would bring victory, and every time the predictions and promises have failed and been forgotten, and the demand has been made once again for one more step up the ladder, and once again the President tells us that we're going to win. Victory is coming. My uncle Robert Kennedy made this statement in March of 1968. It took another 5 years and 37,544 American lives before a United States President was withdrawing Americans out of Vietnam and stopping that war. I'm here tonight to say that the American people and this Congress is going to say no to this president when it comes to repeating that mistake. There are those who will disparage this amendment and say that this is a non-binding resolution. But this resolution says that we are going to reject this president's doubling down on the gambling of American lives and this foolish policy, which is sending over 3,125 soldiers to their deaths, over 23,417 wounded soldiers back home, and hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqis to their graves, and countless more also injured. We are saying in this resolution that we either have to start digging ourselves out of this hole, or we are going to start ruining the day when we have failed to act tonight to start changing course. This administration's bullheaded insistence on ideology over strategy is what's gotten us into this mess. And now that same stubbornness is counseling us to send still more soldiers and more Marines into an Iraqi civil war. Our servicemen and women have been heroic. They've confronted with repeated civilian failures of leadership, inequipped and under-equipped, and yet in increasingly untenable positions. They have been unflinching and been uncomplaining in their shouldering of every burden we've asked of them. And they've done it with dignity and professionalism. But it's not right. It's not right to ask the military to bear the burden of the responsibility of solving someone else's civil war. It's not right, and it won't work. Instead of closing our eyes and crossing our fingers and giving this president a rubber stamp for an endless civil war in Iraq, we should be beginning to move our country back to a common sense policy of strength through leadership. Our choice tonight is clear. Keep digging or climb our way out of this hole. I think this Congress will decide to start climbing our way out. And there will be many who will say, what will we do then? I will say, well, maybe we'll propose to fence off the funds, as many have suggested. That will be a debate for another day. That will be a debate for another day, whether we will fence off the funds. But tonight will be the debate. Tomorrow will be the decision as to whether we will vote to go in that direction. So you can say it's a meaningless, non-binding resolution all you want, but it is the first conversation as to which direction we're going to go. And that is the direction we have to decide. And I vote that we go in the direction of starting to move our way and our troops out of Iraq.
Time has expired.